Okay. Good news, the carb isn't trash. Bad news is somebody didn't know what they were doing with it. When I got this off, what it looked like is somebody had built a solder plug in here. And I don't know, it's kind of beat up around here. I think we'll still be able to get it to seal. But what they had done is taken out the screen and the retainer ring down here that helps atomize the fuel. So it would have been getting just a glob. What that would have meant, would you have been able to feel it when it was running? I don't know. I truthfully don't know. But we're going to put it back the right way. At least that's what we're going to attempt to do here. Alright, fresh kit. Let's see if we can get this thing back together. First thing we need to do is get that screen down in here, laying the appropriate way. And of course it didn't fall in the appropriate way. There we go. Now this retainer ring is likely to be a different issue. It's not likely going to want to cooperate. So what I'm going to try to do is start one end and work it around. But to do that, I got to be able to hold the damn thing down. And that is going about as well as I thought that it would go. So that would probably make me a realist. Oh boy. I don't know that I've ever had to replace one of these. I'm going to try something that's probably pretty stupid. Whoa. Oh, it worked. Ha! Put it in kind of the wrong way, pointing down a little bit. And I was able to get it to start. So it's sitting in there all crooked like, and I'm going to use one of these, a nail setting tool, to push it down. The trick is doing that without damaging the screen. And by golly, I did it. Not bad. Okay, Welch plug. Aha. Damn, whoever did this bunged this up around here. So the question is, can I make it sit down and I can. This is not going to be as pretty as a factory job. But I've been called a lot of things in my life, and pretty ain't one of them, so why the hell should these carburetors be? A little bit more. Good enough for government work. Like I say, she ain't pretty, but that's a hell of a lot closer to what it should be. Okay. The rest of this is just regular old run-of-the-mill rebuilding carb stuff. We'll put in our fuel screen here. And actually just put away the tool that works best for that on these Tillies. Bloop. Pretty. Love it. And every time I do a carb on video, I tell you why I like to assemble one side first. It's very simple. I can pressure test it if I assemble this side first. I can assemble it under pressure. Alright, this has the cast housing, so it uses the thin gasket. Old brain ain't kicking in. There we go. So we'll assemble this side, and we'll go back to the other side. And we'll replace that inlet needle. Just on principles. Because everything else in this carb was kind of junky. I don't know if it sat for a long time or if it was running with some really crummy fuel and then sat for a long time. Don't rightly know. But it wasn't good. And you cough up the needle, you dirty son of a gun. I don't see any. I take that back. I do see just some little black flecks. That was not what I had in mind there. See some little black flecks down at the base of the, well, on the seat itself. I'll just take a little tiny bit of carburetor cleaner and hit the tip of this swab. Now let's do a little polish job on her. Well now, I think I'm glad that we took a peek at that. Eventually that crap probably would have dissolved. I don't want to wait for eventually. And I don't want it to damage something else in here. Okay. Now we're at that magic point that we can go ahead and start pressure testing. And if it holds here, we'll finish assembly. Oh, no, not at all. What in the hell is leaking? Well, that's leaking fast. Wow. What do we got going on? A bit of a leak right up here. That's a gasket that needs to swell. But that's not explaining. Maybe it is. Now that popped off. What in the hell is that? Well, that's interesting. That's real interesting. All right. It's been a hot minute since I've had a Tillotson give me some crap. So what is the issue? And that's why you test them like this. Must be an awful porous gasket. I'm going to find a dry one. Here we go. Alright, knock it off. Alright, I don't want... Let me grab... I just need a piece of something that I don't care about getting dirty. There we go. I've done this off camera plenty of times. What we're going to do is we're going to seal up that gasket using a product that I have shown on camera before. The old Permatex high-tax spray gasket sealant. Gasket soaks it right up. So we will reassemble it and see if that made a difference. It should. Okay, take two. Much better. I would guess. Yep, still got a little bit there. Fuel will seal that up. That gasket will swell. I can live with that. Let's see if we can assemble this thing and not have it just pop right off. That doesn't count. Bingo. We got it. Been a while since I've come across a gasket that was that persistently leaky. It is irritating. I don't like that, but modern gaskets are not as good as they used to was. Alright, let me put away my spare parts here. When did I knock that sideways? You guys are looking at everything at about a 3 or 4 degree angle. How'd it look? Alright. Someday I'll start throwing this stuff away because I've got collections of it that I never use, but not yet. Right. Let's install our carb. Okay. The cutout of the reed valve clears that screw, so that's the direction you want it. And if your screws won't pull in and out of the reed valve like that, tap them through a couple times and bust the crusty gasket off. That's all it is gasket that's been sucked inside the hole, but it's a hell of a lot easier to get this to mount and thread nicely if those screws move in and out easily. Alright, I guess I need to move this up for this. There we go. That looks sort of maybe kind of good. Now, since my gasket fell off the back of the carburetor, I probably ought to put that back on. That would have been interesting now, wouldn't it? Hook your throttle on, pull back until you can get that reed valve to clear. Oop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hook your throttle, damn it, into the right hole. No, I did. Oh, I hope this isn't fighting me already. There, that's better. But is it going back to idle? I think that... Nope, that boot is stopping it. At least I sure think it is. Yeah, it is. Dang nabbit. Well, we're going to fix that right now. I told you guys that might happen. See, it's been a while since I've done one of these, and some of the little tricks and whatevers I've clearly forgotten. Good news is since we've already had it apart, we don't have to do any cleanup this time. And we don't have to fight any screws. It just comes right back apart. We'll just aim this thing the other direction. A little tougher to install. Let's see what the hell you're doing. Okay. Both cut ends are in place. Feed from this side. Just because I can. Alright. That will work. I'd have to look at an IPO. I don't remember if the original one installed that way too. It might have, and I just have forgotten. Hey, get in there. Not in the mood for any screwing around. For your movement, let's try this one more time. Hey, what do you know? It's sitting on the idle stop. There's a nice detail. Okay, now I could have done something else here, and we will stop and take care of it before we get any further along. Let me get this screw started. It pays to get a grommet in here for the hose, and to get that fished before you have your carburetor bolted 100% down. And that's why my FLS 21B Fuel hose kit for these things includes 2 grommets, because you put one right there too. Oil. Where? Oh, there. Now this hole is a little bit bigger, so if you're not careful, you can pop the grommet out doing this. Looks like I'm going to almost certainly. Trying to get the hose to start. Once it starts through, it should stay in without too much hassle. There we go. Perfect. Not a bad guess on that hose depth either. Looks like, if anything, I could have pulled about 1/8 of an inch more out of the tank. Not bad. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'm going to go ahead and hook that hose up while the carb is loose and we have a little movement here. Oh, that is just a beaut. She's a beaut, Clark! And if y'all don't get that reference, you're either not old enough or you didn't watch a required Christmas movie. You're not gonna fight with me. You don't want to fight. I say that is infinitely more difficult to thread those down if you can't do it by finger, because you haven't cleared the gasketry out of that reed valve. Literally just roughly pulling the screw in and out of the hole a couple times will do it. Okay. Full range of throttle, drops back to idle, bam. You grab a cotter pin for that choke rod. And then I think, there it is. I think we'll consider dropping a muffler on. Oh, you are not supposed to do that. That's bad. Stuck to my finger and came right back out of where I had just placed it. And that little dog next door is one of the most annoying yipper-yapper little shits. There is no better word. It is a little shit. And I don't like it. I want it to shut up, but somehow it never, ever shuts up. But if I was to go and beat its human, well, that probably wouldn't end well either. Looking for a spark plug. Here we go. I think. Maybe. Kind of. Sort of. Yay! Spark plug. We definitely, after doing all of this, are going to do it right and drop a new spark plug in this. Well, that'd be the real pits if I picked a cylinder that had rough plug threads and I didn't know it. Ah. Man. I think I got it. Oh, that'd be a pisser. Well, either it's cross-threaded good, or it's threaded right and she'll tighten down right about now. Good. I didn't want it to be the other option. That would have upset me. Okay, let's do our muffler. So for these things, here's my little screwdrivers. I like to do a little Loctite blue on the threads that go into the cylinder head. Yapping dog, car alarm. Damn, we're doing good today. All right. I cleaned the muffler housing up. This is a chrome one. It's crummy chrome, but I cleaned it up as best I could. And I should have checked that. Is that thread? Huh. Thread on this stud is messed up. I cleaned the chrome up with some double aught, maybe it was triple aught, steel wool. Maybe not the most desirable thing, but again, that's not high quality chrome that's on there. And it's 60 years old, so there's that. So is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it good enough? Yes. All right, 1024 die should, is that 10 or is that 12? Shoot, that's 12. What am I smoking? Not a common size these days. That was interesting, wasn't it? Wow. Okay, well, I guess you guys couldn't see it, so the reason I say that is it went in rough, cleaned up, and then went rough a little bit further. I don't know. Carbon in the threads? Or somebody actually foamed it up. Well, there we go. It'll thread in now. Well, at least all I wasted was a little bit of Loctite. Sure beats the hell out of damaging cylinder head threads. Yes, I could have put an insert in, but I'd much rather catch the stupid now. Now, is this one where it's captured by that? Yes, it sure is. So you've got to put the baffle in, which means you've got to do the little guy first. Hey, I wasn't pushing on you that hard. Stay put. Aw, damn you. Okay, we'll do it that way. What this means is that you've got to get everything lined up perfectly. One method would be to thread everything in a little bit. Which maybe is what I should have done. I'm going to hope for the best. What's the worst that can happen? Don't answer that. Can't see shit. Okay. Start in my hand. I turn. Yes. No. Bad. Okay. That's tight enough because we still got a little more to do. Now, for those outer cover screws, you want some anti-seize. Does this actually work? Well, I think so. I mean, granted, I haven't put one together and come back to it 40 years later, clearly. But that's my theory, is that down the road, someone who has to take this apart will be able to come along and take those out and not have them stuck into the threads of the pole. Or the... God, keep saying that. Stuck into the threads of the stud for the muffler in there. And because there were washers on this to begin with, there's going to be washers going back. Because the marks are already on the housing. So it doesn't matter. All right. Good enough. Don't think that's going to vibrate off. That looks pretty good. Actually, that looks really good. Remember what we started with here. It was kind of dirty. All right. Might as well put our clutch back on. Why aren't you starting? Because I wasn't holding it tight enough to it. Duh. All right. Continuing with my... If I'm gentle, I won't break anything theme. At least with this style of where the drum goes on over the outside, it's pretty tough to send one zinging across the garage. Versus when you install the clutch last. Much, much easier to send it zinging across the garage. You can get a coat of good old bench grease here. Which, yes, it is. This is not lithium, I don't think. I think I'm using up my last canister of grease that my dad had laying around. Is it lithium? Nope, it's just high-temp disc brake bearing grease. But the next time I buy some, it will be lithium. I have not had a problem with it. I know some people believe one color gets hard. Maybe it does. But I'm not sure that it would matter in one of these saws. If you have experience and know otherwise, let us know. Okay. So we need an inner washer, I think. I don't see why we wouldn't. Every other home-like clutch like that uses one. And then an outer washer. And instead of that, that's a lock nut. That should be all we need. Right, lucky. Yes, that is a 5/8. As a lock nut. That's why I'm not putting a lock washer under there. All right. Drum is free. Nut is tight. That's what we want right there. Okay, guys, we're actually a hell of a lot closer than I thought we would get today. Fiber washer up here for the air filter is still good enough. You need something there with this style of filter. Now this saw took an impact. So the cover being busted out back here, it actually broke some of the front off here. Now it's not the end of the world. The filter cover has a ridge in there to press down and seal it. But what it did is it bent this stud a little bit. So it's about a 1/16 of an inch forward because it's not sitting back against here. Rather than beat on it, I'm going to see if I can do it with a screwdriver here. Perfect. Perfect. That'll work. So I need that new cover. Well, new to this saw. This one even still has starting instructions. Neat little thing. Oh! I did something I shouldn't have done. We didn't put our high-low grommet on that carburetor. It's easier to put that on before you tighten it down. We'll still get it, especially with the starter cover still being off. There we go. Especially if your starter's on, you need to do that with the carb a little bit loose. All right, let's hook up. That doesn't have a flywheel screen on it. I don't have one out here. Interesting. I'll come back to that. Pretty sure that even these early ones used a flywheel screen. No, you were supposed to stay. Okay. Should have run those screws over the... I'm going to run them over the bench grinder. Okay. Cleanup routine on this starter actually took quite some time and a number of different douses of soap, and it's still not perfect. You could get it, you could get a little bit more if you wanted to. But it's so much better than it was. Hey, air filter fell off. Who'd have thunk? Okay. Now, before I go too crazy, I want to set... Oh, wow. Of course, I backed that off. I backed this high-speed needle off so that I wouldn't accidentally damage something while I was working in there. So go one full turn open. I used to go a turn and a half on the low speed, but any more, just about a turn and a quarter. The high speed might be a little lean where it's set, but those threads might have gotten bunged up too. Nope, I just don't know how to line. Cute. Alright, nice and tight. Yeah, that's got that filter compressed. Let's throw this handle back on. And then we'll drop some fuel in and see if she runs. If it doesn't, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Because we did all the right things as far as I'm concerned. Oh, get back here, you turd. This is early enough that it is not drilled for the later style handle with threads under there. Is that one? Yeah. All right. Oh. Now, granted, she's loaded up with oil from our little quick rebuild, as it were, but some decent compression. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in. Not that I want it running all over the bench, but I don't know how dry the oil pump is. I don't mind if it pumps some and then runs out. A little lube in there. That's good. What I'm trying to prevent is having an oil slick on my bench as I'm breaking in those new rings. If I get this running and it's stable, I'm going to run it for about 15 minutes. And 15 minutes of oil would be, well, an oil slick all over my bench. Ah! Okay, well, more than I intended. Hadn't intended to flip gasoline everywhere. Yeah, sometimes stuff doesn't go as intended. As I mentioned earlier, I did rebuild the cap and get the, that old duckbill was as mushy and effed as the old fuel line was. So it would have made a giant mess everywhere. All right, folks. Find some hearing protection here. See what happens. This is probably going to crank pretty, yeah. That sucks. We'll address that later. Come on. Get back in there. What was that? Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's still quite rich on the low side and a tad rich on the high side, but we'll get there. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But we did it. We rebuilt it. So, this is the cover for the drive case. We've got a 16-inch hard-nosed bar that's buried in the bottom of the box. I'm not going to bother digging that out right now. Pretty good looking little saw. And it's not little. I don't know why I said that. Pretty good looking saw. So I think what I'm going to do is let it sit for a while. And then come back and do one of my 3 or 4 day later restarts. That 170 degrees for the outside temp it is right now is about right. They can certainly get quite a bit hotter than that. And that's just the reading that I'm getting at the base of the muffler, right at the port on the cylinder head. At least that's what I'm aiming for. And again, it's Harbor Freight. This is probably not the most accurate thing on the planet, but it seems to be pretty close. It's close enough for this. What I can say is that I could hold my hand there while it was running, and you get a feel for how hot the exhaust should be, and that wasn't bad. This thing's just loafing right along. I mean, yeah, the spark plug is hot. I don't want to hold my finger on it for very long. The fuel tank is still cool. I mean, drive case right next to the muffler is warm, but certainly not hot. Muffler is hot, but it doesn't sizzle your fingerprint right off. So now that it's been sitting for a second, God. Yeah. Drop 35 degrees just like that. That's not accurate. What the hell are you reading? There we go. 116. I would guess it's a little warmer than that, but again, it's Harbor Freight. Anyhow, that's it. So that's how we spend a cold, rainy Saturday around here when somebody sends a saw and donates it to the channel. So thank you again, Martin. Your kindness made this video possible. We very much appreciate it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one.